Hello everyone, and for the first time in almost 2 years, welcome back to TSN or the SASUKE Nerds, and in today's video we're going to be coming at you straight out of the gate with some predictions, and today we're going to be doing some obstacle predictions for SASUKE 40.
Pretty stoked for this, honestly. You know, as our first video we've recorded together, you know, when it comes to this course, it's going to be hard to keep a level head. If you've spoken to me, you know, throughout the past year or so, you will know my outlook on this show has been decreasing more and more. So, I guess it'll be exciting. Let's get into it.
Alright, we're gonna start with stage 1 here. Now, in general, since we've only gotten a renewal a couple of tournaments ago, I'm gonna go straight out here and say this. I really don't expect a lot to change. So for the most part, this is going to be like a dream miracle scenario where Inui suddenly wakes up from his slumber and realizes, hey, the course kind of sucks. It needs to be revamped. But realistically, for most of these, I'm going to be kind of repeating myself and saying that realistically, I don't think this is going to happen, but I would hope for it happens. So I'm going to start with the quad steps. And I know everyone else shared the same sentiment. The quad steps, I hope they go, because they're just not interesting anymore. They're not captivating to me anymore. It's nearly kind of the same with the rolling hill. I've defended both the quad steps and the rolling hill for the longest time. I said that they have their place at the start. Sure, they might be a bit of a drag and they might not be as like exciting as they were when they first came onto the scene, but I still felt that they had their place. But nowadays, honestly, I am kind of sharing the sentiment that, like, they're just not exciting anymore, and they serve nothing, but they're just a waste of time, especially the rolling hill. So for my hopes, I hope that they would go. I hope the quad steps and rolling hill would go, but realistically, I just don't see it going for the next while, because, to put it simply, like, it's gonna, like, gonna be too much effort for, like, Inui, apparently, to come up with a new concept or something. I'm gonna move on to Silk Slider now. I'm just gonna get through this quickly. Silk Slider, I hope it goes, and honestly, it's probably the only thing I can see actually going. Silk Slider has been a complete disaster. A complete and utter disaster. It is an embarrassment of an obstacle, in my opinion. Like, it's an embarrassment to a decent concept. Sure, like, to begin with, we didn't really expect a lot from the Silk Slider, but at least, like, it was, like, taking a decent A&W obstacle. And they've done that before. They've taken decent A&W obstacles and elevated them. The double pendulum, in my opinion, was okay. But the Silk Slider was just a pure... I laughed. I laughed at times by how bad this obstacle was. And, like, with COVID restrictions, for the most part, like ceasing in Japan, with quarantine and all that going and things kind of getting back to normal, the need for the Silk Slider should be gone. Because the whole reason the Silk Slider is there in the first place is because of the fact that, you know, COVID was there and they couldn't reasonably clean and replace the Wing Slider. That's the whole reason the Wing Slider is gone. So I think the Silk Slider will get replaced. But as for what will replace it, who knows, honestly. If I had to guess, I would anticipate Inui just bringing the log grip back for a tournament and then seeing what he does from there and coming up with something else. Onto Fishbone. Fishbone has been kind of in the same boat as Rolling Hill for me for the longest time. I've defended its existence. I've defended the constant times where it just kind of stayed the same. Especially with the Fishbone Kai. I thought, okay, the Fishbone Kai is what this needs to shake it up. No, Fishbone Kai made it easier. And so it's been stagnant for the past nearly 3 years. This obstacle has been completely stagnant, and in my opinion, what the obstacle needs is a complete pattern change. Change the pattern completely and throw people off. That is what will get Fishbone to be like an interesting obstacle again, because to the wider SASUKE community and to me, it's not interesting anymore. It's literally just like a head shock at this point in terms of how interesting it is. But realistically, I don't think anything is going to change for it because, honestly, I think the main reason it isn't going to change is because Inui doesn't want to hurt Daisuke Matsuda's feelings. And that's the truth. That's the truth. Dragon Glider, meanwhile. Honestly, again, this has been the case for me with Stage 1, where almost every obstacle I have defended to the death. and I just can't anymore, especially after 38 and 39. Well, mostly 39 to be fair. Dragon Glider has to go. It's getting, not only is it getting stale, but honestly, it isn't functioning well anymore. 38, we saw a lot of people get screwed over, and in 39, we even saw more people getting screwed over. The obstacle just isn't functioning well. And especially if you take a look at, like, the Double Dipper. The Double Dipper functions significantly better. And even then it has its issues, but, like, the Dragon Glider is just an old concept now, and it just needs to be refreshed, because all it functions as is basically a gatekeep for up-and-coming competitors to not get to the second stage, because we're just seeing the same people get to the second stage every single time since SASUKE 35. I mean, even look at SASUKE 35. 35 was just the people you expected to clear are the only ones who clear because of the Dragon Glider, and that was the same in 30. Well, to a lesser extent in 36, it was basically 37, even more so in 38 and 39. So I hope the Dragon Glider goes for that reason. Do I think it will? No. But, like, a man can dream, no? And to finish this off simply, Tackle and Warp Wall aren't going to go. The double Warp Wall will stay as it is, I assume. Would a new obstacle, would a one less wall and a new obstacle be good? Sure. Like, bring the Lumberjack climb back or something, but I don't think it's going to happen. So in conclusion, I don't think Stage 1 is really going to change. Now over to Kane.
So I agree with your major points involving most of the obstacles. You know, honestly, I would love to see, you know, a major overhaul. You know, what we did not get in 39, and, you know, because this is the anniversary tournament, you know, maybe it would make sense. Who knows? Maybe you could throw on, like, a 25 kind of throwback. Because 25, you know, for what it was, it works, but, you know, Nui, gotta keep his level head, gotta keep all those obstacles in. But yeah, Quad Steps, Rolling Hill, they last a decade. Silk Slider, if you know me, I think you would notice my irrational, burning hatred for the Silk Slider. I wish it was gone.
I wouldn't say it's irrational now.
Yeah, I guess it is more or less rational, to say the least. You know, Fishbone, you could just come down to Matsuda's place, and then it just becomes a freebie. Dragon Glider, you know, I don't know what they replace it with, in all honesty. I would love to see it gone, as much as the next guy, but Lord knows what they're gonna throw in its place.
I mean, if you're hoping for a 25 kind of thing, then maybe it could be like a jumping spider or something like that.
You know, I'd love to see that, as much as next guy maybe put in the green mats. That's a pipe dream, if you will.
I mean, honestly, for me, and I should have mentioned this when I was saying the Dragon Glider, my dream replacement for the Dragon Glider, jumping spider with a moving panel. Because Inui loves his motors. He'll spend like fucking $15 billion on motors. And then spend like the rest of it on like a piece of grass. He loves his motors, so I think this is the perfect opportunity. Get the fans on your side with a jumping spider, one of the greatest obstacles of all time, and then throw your stupid motor in there as well as to make it harder. Perfect. I think it's a good deal.
Yeah, honestly, I think it could, you know, it could work. And, you know, you get to keep your spider obstacle that's been in all but, you know, whopping one tournament. So, you know, it'd be a fun spin on what has been a very boring stage. And, you know, Tackle, Warped Wall, they're good obstacles. Tackle, without the Warped Wall, it would be worthless. Warped Wall without Tackle, it would be worthless. It's kind of a win-win for both. Oh, yeah, and Double Warped Wall is kind of ass. I would love to see it gone.
Yeah.
Bring back single Warped Wall.
I was the only person who was excited for that, and I got so disappointed.
Yeah, because the only person who missed was Tan Yutaka, and that's it.
Yeah, we only would have gotten one fail on that thing if it wasn't for the rain.
Anyway, I guess it's on to stage 2, right? Let's get into it. So, my thoughts on stage 2. We know that Inui does not give two flying fucks about that stage. If he could take it out, he probably would. But nonetheless, he can't, because the format. So let's, you know, say what I would want to change. So first, Rolling Log, you know, it was a very needless nerf. I don't know why they did it. Was it too hard? I don't think so, because, you know, certain amount of people still cleared. It wasn't a complete wipe. It's kind of stupid, honestly. But, yeah, bring it back to, the way it was. It kept, people on their toes as they went onto the salmon ladder, which should also be majorly overhauled. Because, come on. Everyone knows how to hop down a bar, down a series of rungs. And, maybe it would have been spiced up, if you didn't nerf the rolling log. They kind of work in conjunction, right? The Kudari should go. That's my point. It's been through 2 renewals. He has no excuse. And, Spider Walk? If Jumping Spider comes back, then axe it, replace it with something else. Maybe something new. Throw in the wing nuts anyway while you're at it. That's probably what they're going to do anyway. But I guess it's kind of a staple obstacle as is. So, if Jumping Spider doesn't come back, Spider Walk stays. Yeah. And then Backstream, I would say burn it, but it's a swimming pool, so you can't. So take it off the course. Throw it to the demolition site, I don't know. And then, I don't know, keep the backwards conveyor and wall lift. Wall lift has been here all but, 3 tournaments? A version of it has been in all but 1. Make of that what you will.
Yeah.
So, really can't get rid of it at this point. Oh yeah, and another thing. Stage 2 doesn't really feel too speed-oriented. It feels kind of boring. Maybe make it more time-oriented, and then you're good to go. Anyway, off to So.
Alright, here we go. So, for me, rolling log, the realization that the track was shortened was probably one of the most disappointing parts, one of many disappointing parts of SASUKE 39, which you're going to see in a video coming up in a couple of days. Stay tuned for that. But, wow. Rolling log, how? How do you mess this up so bad, Inui? You take one of the few good obstacles that you have created in the last decade, and you somehow mess it up by making the track shorter when there was no need to. Sure, you could have said, oh, but look at all the competitors who got screwed out of a clear because of the track stopping. That would have happened anyway, because they all happened earlier, and it happened again anyway. So I don't know what you're talking about. I guess it's just a skill issue, but the log was just bad. If I could, I would revert it back to what it was in 38, because you only had 1 fail. And that was because they didn't know how to dismount a cylinder. Yeah, I would revert rolling log back to 38's rolling log, but do I think it's going to happen? No. Salmon ladder. The Kudari and Nobori need to be thrown into the nearest, compactor, and then set on fire, and then thrown into the Pacific Ocean. It's been suffering for the past 7 years, seeing probably the worst. It was probably already the 2nd worst going in. I think it's worse than the swap salmon ladder at this point, purely because of A, it's gotten there's pretty much no fails on it anymore, apart from people who haven't attempted a salmon ladder in their life. And 2, the Kudari, the novelty wore off after, SASUKE 34, but, now we're on SASUKE 40, and nothing's changed. If I could get rid of it, and I think out of all the obstacles in this stage, I think the Kudari and Nobori are the most likely to go. If I could replace it with anything, maybe a triple salmon ladder, but then the question is, you'd have to have another obstacle after the salmon ladder if you're going to have it on a high pedestal, which I suppose is what Inui wants. He doesn't want an extra obstacle because it costs him money that he could be spending on, saunas or something. But yeah, if that happens by some miracle, then add, a triple or a double salmon ladder, bring the unstable bridge back. All you need is 2 blocks of wood. I'm pretty sure you can fit that in the budget. Spider Walk and Spider Drop need to go. They need to go. I'm sorry. Again, I defended Spider Walk and Spider Drop by saying, oh, they're a staple of the course. They're iconic. You need a spider obstacle, but unless you're gonna severely modify the Spider Walk, there's no point, because it doesn't take out anyone other than people who are either exhausted or don't know how to do a spider obstacle. Sure, in 38, you had a lot of people who kind of messed it up, in one way or another, but that was just because half of them are rushing. But, yeah, if you're gonna, just get rid of them, please. Or at least severely modify them, but realistically, that ain't gonna happen. They're gonna stay the same. And that's the same with the backstream. I've been calling for this thing to be gone since I was a preteen, and it ain't gonna go. It's gonna stay right where it is, as a swimming pool that 5-year-olds could do, probably until the end of time, or until Inui thinks of a new idea. And reverse conveyor and wall, you know, they serve their purpose directly because of the backstream. If it wasn't for the backstream, these two would be fairly easy. And, but hey, maybe that's what the course needs. Make reverse and wall lifting easy because of the lack of a backstream, and make the stage a speed stage again, like what Kane said. Make it a speed stage again. It was in 38, to some sort of extent. It was a speed stage. So, like, just do that again. Revert it back, maybe get rid of backstream, cut the time limit by about 10 or 15 seconds, and hey, you got the community on your side again with stage 2. It's not that hard, and you'd probably save money because the backstream probably costs like 90% of the budget on its own. So yeah, in conclusion, I don't think stage 2 is going to change either, but I hope it does. And now we move on to stage 3. Honestly, stage 3, I mean, we only just got pretty much two new obstacles out of it. So am I going to expect a lot of changes out of it? No, not really. But again, like I said, most of this is just like my hopes rather than actual predictions. Maybe I should title this video Obstacle I Am Begging You, Inui, Please Do This predictions. But hey, it's worth a shot, isn't it? Let's start with Flying Bar. Flying Bar has... its presence in Sasuke has single-handedly ruined the obstacle's reputation. So, because let's go from the beginning. 32 was fine. It was fine in 32. Up until the rain. It was fine. It was a decent return for the obstacle. And then they added that wire in 33, and it completely killed the obstacle. It fucked over so many people. It screwed over Aza, it screwed over Shunsuke, and it screwed over Yusuke. That in itself is a completely justified reason to still hate the flying bar to this day, but the obstacle is still just bad because it just has stayed the same. And we've had next to no fails on it, other than people who either break the thing, like Yoshinori Issa, or don't know how to jump to the Sidewinder, like Ben Toyer and Darvish. So, yeah, Flying Bar, I hope it goes, but in my opinion, it's not. It won't go. It'll stay there as, like, the obstacle that, like, you can... Like, Iwamoto's gonna get there, and, like, the fans are gonna be like, oh my god, he just did the Flying Bar, he's the greatest of all time, and we're all sitting at home like, no, it's an easy obstacle. Realistically, someone with, like, the slightest bit of, like, upper body strength can do it, because, like, the Sasuke version's easy. The Sidewinder, as it's been named by the community, the Spinwinder, because now it spins, I think it's great as it is. It is the one obstacle in this stage, well, the one new obstacle in the stage that I like. It is the perfect thing the Sidewinder needed to stay relevant and to stay fresh. And it did that. Because it took out multiple commanders. It took out Keitaro, and it took out Tomohiro Muto. And that's exactly what it needed. It needed to be deadly again, and it did that. Swing Edge, I think, is gonna stick around. It's gonna stay the same. Even though I do have my issues with the Swing Edge, I have quite a lot of issues. I think the design of it is terrible, and I think it's just an easier version of the falling shelves. I think it serves its purpose purely because for the next couple of tournaments at least, we will still get people who are not used to the reverse Lachey. So, hey, I guess for at least the next couple of tournaments, I can tolerate the Swing Edge just like staying the same. And I'm gonna anger a few people by saying this, but Dimension's gotta go, in my opinion. Cliffhanger Dimension, in my opinion, has been probably the worst Cliffhanger variant since the Sasuke 25 Ultimate Cliffhanger. And that thing was probably harder to do than the Ultra Crazy to Vertical Limit combo because of that third ledge alone. Dimension is just like a logistical and like design disaster. It's mostly based on RNG at this point, through Inui's own admission. Half the time people get screwed out of it because the motors desync. I thought Sasuke was meant to be based on skill. Maybe I was being a bit naive when I thought that. Admittedly, I probably am, with the way the show is going. But, like, either fix the dimension and make it actually sync up properly, or get rid of the thing and come up with something else that isn't Crazy Cliffhanger Mark 6, okay? Vertical limit is fine. I don't really have a lot to say about the vertical limit. Maybe motorize it, maybe motorize the third ledge, make it actually difficult. But then again, people are still kind of struggling with it, so I don't see it changing. But again, I think it's fine. I think it's fine the way it is, but would I like it to be like motorized or something changed to it? Sure. Maybe go with Australia's version and have a reverse grab, which I actually enjoyed quite a bit. I thought that was really cool. Really cool twist on it. And finally, Pipe Slider. You know, Pipe Slider always holds a special place in my heart. It is probably my personal, not like objective best, probably my personal favorite obstacle of all time in stage 3, because I just think it used to be just fun to see and fun to do. But recently, with the stopper being added, the jump getting easier, and the only way you can really fail at this point is by not centering your balance. I think it's time that Pipe Slider has ran its course, and we need something else in its place. Now, what could you put in this place? I don't know. Maybe you could take the flying bar, make it better, and put it there. This wouldn't be really popular. Maybe bring back the gliding ring. Maybe bring back the bar glider. Maybe come up with something new, possibly. I don't know, but Pipe Slider has just been stale. It's been stagnant for the past decade, and I think it's time to finally move on. So, and honestly, out of all of these, I think Pipe Slider is probably the most likely to go. So my conclusion for stage 3 is that everything stays the same apart from Pipe Slider.
Alright, here are my thoughts on stage 3. So, yes, I have gained a newfound hatred for the flying bar. It's just boring. When I found out that the Planet Bridge, back in 2018, when I found out the Planet Bridge was going to make the flying bar the first obstacle by de facto, I wasn't very happy. Because honestly, the way the drum hopper worked, it was way, way better as a first obstacle. And you know what? More power to it, because it's the one obstacle, that strained your triceps. But with that said, flying bar, it's basically like a pipe slider, but with 2-inch gaps in some parts of the track. It's piss easy. And I feel like, at this point, we might go like 3 or 4 tournaments without someone failing it, which is honestly kind of hilarious. I don't know, throw something new in this place. Throw in ropes, that would be more interesting. Put in the bungee rope climb. I feel like I'd have a better time watching that than the flying bar. I don't know, give us something new.
My personal pick would be the swing circle, because, it kind of functions sort of the same. You're lacheying in a way. And also, swing circle never got a chance. So if you just made it design better, if you designed it better, which I'm sure Nui has the technology to do, over a decade over we saw the swing circle for the first time. Hey, we can dream.
Anyway, Sidewinder is fine. It's a good obstacle. Keep it there. Keep it a second obstacle too, because it's honestly almost the crux point. If you, exclude the cliffhanger, which is an absolute and utter joke. But we'll get to that point when we get to it. Swing Edge, I like what it represents. It represents the weird tech that, a lot of Japanese athletes haven't really gotten into, ever. So it's a nice touch into a very boring and staticky stage 3. A dynamic kind of blind grab move, which, I can appreciate. More power to you, Nui. So keep it where it is. Just, do better than a bunch of metal pipes. Anyway, time for my thoughts on the dimension. Yeah, I don't know what to think of the dimension. It's kind of stale as an obstacle. Very stale. I just know the cliffhanger is just the gatekeeper that people can, beat mostly if you're not Kachihara or Jun or Hyoki.
Or anyone who isn't Yusuke Morimoto.
Now I'll give credit to Tada for being good at cliffhanger. Kind of dog water at vertical limit though. And that brings us straight into vertical limit. I'll carry the torch from Ali Hay, right? Give it some motors. you know, give it some motors. Actually, you know what, port over the blind grab. Because, you know, Australia clearly didn't want to use it. I don't know why. Because they had something going. Until they didn't, and Season 6 happened. But with that said, yeah, do better. Actually, no, vertical limit's actually kind of a good obstacle. That kind of turned into the gatekeeper. Anyway, pipe slider, I don't know, man. You were on that tangent about how it should go. And honestly, I kind of agree. But I honestly have a pretty decent theory. Inui could throw in one of those fancy bar obstacles from, you know, A&W. And, you know, the thing is with Inui loves his A&W. He loves throwing in random obstacles at random points in the course, right? So why not throw in something like the lightning bolts, slingshot? Who knows? Go creative with it.
Lightning bolts could actually be good, to be fair, honestly.
And you see, I think that's kind of Inui's problem sometimes. That he doesn't go creative. He keeps it safe. Plays it safe. You know, when it comes to a lot of the course, he just throws in motors just because. Yeah, he could do a lot better when it comes to obstacle choices. So let's move straight into stage 4, or the final stage, which I think is a way better name. I don't know, man. They might change it again. It's like 28.
Yeah, they could do a 28 here and just change the entire stage, even though we've never seen it before. But, I mean, do we even have to spend too long on this?
Nah, real thoughts? I don't know. Maybe he'll throw in like a 60-second time limit. Something outrageous. Like, outrageously lenient is what I mean.
Of course, we don't expect anything to be changed. Of course. I mean, you never know. Hey, look at Sasuke 28. But honestly, if you really expect final stage to be changed, like, if you're correct, you're the greatest predictor of all time. But yeah, all I expect is like Inui in the background is gonna tweak the time limit, maybe increase it a little bit because he gets like, I don't know, a 70-year-old man to do it, and he clears it in like 61 seconds, so he does it in 60. And then we're gonna see like, well, I don't know. Maybe I'll leave this last part until we do results predictions, shall we?
Yeah, let's do that. I'm excited for the Rockwell though. That'll be kind of cool, as long as Inui doesn't fuck it up, which he does like to do.
Yep.
But yeah, with that said, that was the obstacle predictions, right? We had a lot of positive things to say about Inui's design philosophy.
For sure, for sure.
Love to see it.
Yep. And that is the end of our first video back. I hope you enjoyed it, and I hope that you are happy that the SASUKE Nerds, after almost 2 years of hiatus, we're finally back, and hopefully better than ever. I hope you enjoyed this video. It was a lot of fun to make, a lot of fun to record for sure. Thank you to Kane for making this possible. I didn't want to bring back the SASUKE Nerds and just have it be a SASUKE Nerd, and yeah, I'm looking forward to seeing how this new era of this project goes. I'm sure it'll go well. But as always, thank you guys so much for watching. If you have any video ideas or anything you'd like for us to cover, make sure to leave it in the comments below. And as always, make sure to like, make sure to share, make sure to, of course, subscribe. And we'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out.